Good morning. Today is truss installation day. You know, funny, Yvonne and I thought for some reason that we'd be able to do this by ourselves. Well, these trusses weigh about 50 or 75 pounds more than we expected, and there's just no way we're going to be able to muscle these things up onto the box beam by ourselves. So I put out a call to some neighbors and friends and YouTubers to see if I could get some assistance, and the response was amazing. So we are expecting a good group of guys and ladies today to help us get these trusses up and installed. It's a beautiful day. Yvonne's got a pot of potato soup going. I baked some bread this morning, so our friends will be well fed as also.
Bird's mouth, that's where it sits on top of the wall.
So the two ends of this, the two ends of this are actually unique. So the most important question is, are we cutting these the right direction?
Well,
Let's assume he knows what
Bill set it up.
No, we got that covered. You let him do that.
It's opposite day.
Right.
Let's put this one up.
Because the ends are unique.
He's got to cut this one. Hold on, he's got to cut this side.
In the, you were talking about the saw, the guy.
At this point, I'm explaining the cutting of the birds' mouths to Doug and Case. They both volunteered to take on this responsibility. Once the bird's mouths are cut, the rest of us will pick the truss up and maneuver it into
I
place.
believe that is that right, Yvonne? Is that high side? Low side? Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Then we cut it the right direction. Good. Because they are good. Yeah, that one's. Don't worry about that. You just got
Just hit it once. I'm in. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here goes the first truss. And I know this is going to be a little awkward because we are not sure of exactly how we're going to do this. We have an idea, but we're not really 100% sure. So I'm showing you this entire first truss so that you can appreciate that once a system is in place, it really moved much more smoothly.
I at least chipped it off. Got that one in the nuts. Well, you guys can lower your
I'm coming.
Lower? So we need to go down.
Where to? Where to? Go up there before this. Here?
Yeah, you take that. Now, can we turn it? Let's
Tip it up.
hold on. Before we tip it up, maybe we should swing it over and then tip it.
That's what I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on, let me help you. Don't go any further.
I need a lot of two honey.
Okay, I got it. Oh,
Yeah, move to the left in the middle.
Now that we have the truss up and we're getting it into position, the first thought was just to tack the hurricane ties into place using screws. And then I thought, you know what, while it's here, let me run and grab the compressor and the proper nails, and let's just make it into place permanently.
right.
Yeah. You just did one right through the 2x4?
Yeah. And I know it's not doing anything but making me feel good.
Yeah, right.
We'll have nightmares later on, yes.
But that won't go all the way, right? It'll hit the other side, right?
Here you can see Doug and Case working on the birds' mouths. And as soon as they're done, the group will grab the rafter and bring it in to the house. We've already got 3 or 4 rafters up and in place, and the system is starting to solidify. I had previously made some tools out of 2x4s that allowed people who were standing on the floor to help support and maneuver the truss into place. They came in real handy. Now that it's up and in its proper position, just using a palm nailer, I'm driving home the nails through the hurricane tie. At this point, everyone realizes what their job is, and everyone's working like a well-oiled machine.
Right.
Yes, but
No, we are building we need the same thing as building.
hold on, guys.
And
As the trusses go up, the amount of space inside to maneuver the truss into place becomes less and less. But nevertheless, everyone keeps working and moving forward. It's at this point that we decide that the trusses should start coming through the window. It's become too tight inside to maneuver the truss, and by going through a window, we're able to immediately take it up to the top level without needing to swing it around inside. Once it's up on the top box beam, we can then slide it along and put it into position. We decide to start working at the other end of the house because the last truss will come up through the window and right into place. At least that's the plan.
This is Doug, my neighbor. He's doing a fantastic job. He cut all the birds' mouths for us, and they worked out perfect. Excellent job. This guy, he did nothing. Okay, he did nothing. Check it out. First of all, check out his shoes. Okay, this guy goes nowhere without a set of Crocs. He's got a color for every occasion, and those are his safety yellow Crocs. And then we got this Brian. We got Brian from Midlife Crisis.
Hello.
We brought him over because of his extreme height and long reach. Look at his wingspan.
8 foot. This is an 8 foot measuring stick.
And then we got the opposite end of the spectrum. This is Jim from the Green Green Project, but everyone knows Jim. I brought Jim over hoping he would film and give us a shout out. So this is purely, no, and he's not going to do it.
I will
No, not going to do it. Schmoozing with the boss. All right, guy, break over. Back to work. Warren, saddle up.
Saddle up.
Come in, mate.
John?
Now I'm on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to bring it to me. And I'm going up.
Okay.
I'm on.
It was at this point, unbeknownst to me, that a group of guys had decided and figured out a way to get the final truss up and in place. It's a little precarious because it hangs 2.5 feet away from the wall, but they figured out a way and they were confident they could do it. And I'm glad they did.
Took it over, huh? You're kind of like
Take your time. I'm just gonna.
Takes a village.
You guys got it up there?
Oh yeah. I have one on me. Okay.
You're good to go.
Bill.
I can't see anything.
Does it go on the outside of the line or the inside?
Saves me the trouble of going back on. So how did it feel to drive that last nail home, Warren?
Oh, that was pretty awesome.
So the entire process took about 3 hours from start to finish, and it was time now to enjoy some homemade potato soup. So the first thing that Yvonne and I did after everyone left was to screw down some 2x4s, the full width of the house, in order to lock the individual trusses together. That just gives the trusses a little bit of lateral stability and prevents swaying. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use 6-inch timber lock screws, and I'm going to screw the trusses down to the top plate. It's a tight fit with that 6-inch screw and my impact driver. As you can see, it just makes it, if I do a slight, what I did was I gave it just a very slight angle so that I could reach it with my impact driver from the top. Okay guys, with all of the timber lock structural screws installed, I went around the perimeter of the building with 5-inch deck screws, and I toe-nailed them in from the outside up just as extra precaution. Now it was time to address the rafter tails. Earlier, Yvonne and I had run a string line and snapped a line across the top of the rafters. And now I'm using a level, making sure the ends are plumb, and trimming them off with a circular saw. These rafter tails will receive a fascia board later on. So I got done leveling off or evening out the trusses, and what I ended up doing was measuring 35 3/4 out from the top plate and then snapping a line, and they came out pretty nice and straight. According to the engineer's spec sheet, I was able to take up to maximum 3 inches off either side of the overhang. I ended up taking about 2 inches off of this side and about 3/4 of an inch off the north side. So we're all within spec. Okay guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions about what we've done with the roof trusses, please leave the questions in the comment box below. Again, a big special thanks goes out to everyone who helped make this possible, and we of course thank you for watching and your support. We'll catch you in the next video.